Hey guys, this is Ashley White, the owner of the Polka Dot Alley, and I'm so excited to introduce you to the Alley podcast. Hey guys, okay, so in talking about the last 18 years and what got us, to this point, I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the things that we did that I think helped us to last 18 years and to grow in those 18 years, but also talking about things that I either regret or maybe they just weren't the best decisions or things that just kind of flopped for us. Um, One thing I will say that I think obviously should go without saying, but I'll still say, is technology has helped us to grow where we are. Of course, 100%. Technology can be a blessing. And as we know, it can also be a curse. Social media can be a blessing and can also be a curse. That's one thing that's been really hard. I was talking to the girls earlier and said, what are the different topics? What things should I talk about on the podcast? And Rocky said, how about your work-life balance? And I said, what's that? What do you even mean? I don't have that. Which I kind of joke. I do. And I do make sure to manage everything in the way that works best for me, which I think for each family is going to look different, and that's okay. But I do what works best for us and for me. And I think one thing that is very hard about having your job be very social media heavy is that I am having to be on social media so often. And I think there are so many things that come from social media that can give just ideas of false realities, that can give pressure, that can give expectation, disappointment, cause envy, lots of things. So how about we have a whole social media episode? But one thing that has helped us is social media, bar none. We have the best Facebook group, PDA VIPs. We have such a community that has been built in there. And the growth of PDA is not due to me. It is in part due to me because I kept it going and kept up with it. But it is also in part due to so many of our amazing customers and staff members and people who have honestly just helped it to grow and kept it going and told their friends about it and, things like that you can't pay for and you can't get with an ad. And I feel like that's something I definitely owe a lot of the last 18 years of success to is not only technology, but also social media. I could tell you one decision that I made that I felt like was really good, which was the auction style selling. When we first started doing that in early 2012, it was very new. It was very, fun and different. And rather than just posting a link and saying, go buy something on a website, which, there weren't a lot of people on Facebook anyways then, but if there were, that's kind of more of what it was. It was a click here and you can go buy this item. What we instead did was we posted a picture of an item on Facebook. We said, hey, this costs this much. I made a graphic. I did a description of the item. I put what the sizes were, whatever the specifics were to that specific item, and comment with what you want. We'll invoice you. We kind of treated it almost like a sales associate storefront situation on a page, and it made it more personal. And I think that's why it worked. I think people didn't at the time want to go click to go to a website and have to figure out how to navigate the website and go order. They wanted me to do the work. They wanted to be scrolling on their page, which now, of course, anybody and everybody can do that, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or wherever you are. There's stuff you can buy everywhere. It wasn't like this then, y'all. This was early 2012. It just wasn't. And so the ability for someone to, at a certain time, come onto Facebook and I'm going to post these items that are limited. So you have to watch and you have to be fast. And my stuff was selling out pretty much immediately every Wednesday night and Sunday night. And so they would see that picture and say, oh, I want that. Medium, here's my email. And they knew that then I'm going to create the invoice. I'm going to send it to them. They click a button to pay it. They didn't have to go process a checkout. They didn't have to go do all of that. It came to them. And I think it just created a personal touch as well, because I had to comment back to them and say, I'm invoicing you. And it took a lot of work. It was very new, not being done by a lot at that point. And I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made because I think it met people where they were. I think it was a little bit ahead of its time. And I think it's what really just ignited the storm that kind of became the Polka Dot Alley in early 2012. So that's one thing. Storefront. This could go both ways. I never want to say that I regret opening the store. I truly don't. And I feel like had I not, I would still wonder. I would still be thinking, I don't think there ever would have been a chance I wouldn't have. It's if I wouldn't have opened it in 2014, I'd be opening it now. I always would have wondered and I always would have wanted to know, was it the best decision financially compared to online? No, probably not. But it's also hard to know. It's a chicken or the egg situation where maybe did us having the storefront get us more locals that then shopped online, and maybe we wouldn't have grown as much online without the store. We'll never know. That's one of those things where it's so easy in life, I think, to think, gosh, I shouldn't have done this, or this was the biggest mistake, or I should have never done that, or gone there, or, done this, whatever it might be. But instead of thinking that way, I think focus on like, what is the one good thing that you did get out of it? What is the one thing that you can spin it as a positive? Don't forever regret dating the guy or gosh, marrying the guy or having the job or whatever it might be. Try to think of maybe what would you maybe not have if you hadn't done it. And so instead of me thinking about like, oh God, that was kind of dumb, probably. We had so much overhead. Hiring people was really hard to deal with. We had a lot of theft and we never made anywhere near in a storefront what we were making online. And so if I look at it black and white, if I'm looking at it, this is it, then yeah, maybe it wasn't a great decision. But there's always gray. There's always gray. Nothing is black and white. Nothing is black and white. And so instead of focusing on those things, I have to go, hey, did I end up getting more people because we seemed more legit because we had a storefront? Did we end up creating bigger relationships with our locals who were able to meet me in person and come in and see what we have and feel the quality that are still shopping with us today? Maybe they wouldn't have if I didn't have a storefront. Was I able to get really good brands because of the legitimateness of having a storefront? And maybe I wouldn't have had some of those brands, Buddha Girl, for one, I would have never gotten if I hadn't had a storefront. They've been a huge brand for us. So I think I try to focus on those things. The store, I have no regrets on. I am so glad we closed it when we did. Quite honestly, we probably could have closed it a little earlier than we did. But after COVID, when we reopened, I just felt such a sense of loyalty to our customers, our employees, our town, that I wanted them to have that to come back to. And I wanted to give them that little sense of normalcy back. And so we just kind of probably kept it going a little bit longer than we should have. And the thing is, y'all, the store was not doing bad numbers. The store was not a disappointment. The store was being run really well. Obviously, Kim was in charge. But when we're doing the level that we are online, what we were doing in the storefront just truly did not make sense. It almost would have never been able to match what online numbers were doing. And it was just creating kind of a lot of headaches having two systems and two inventories and all of that. So that's one of those that's not a regret, but maybe maybe wasn't like the best thing business and money wise in the long run by the time all was said and done. One thing I can tell you is definitely a regret, and I shouldn't have done it. And it was just one of those, again, will I always wonder, selfish things that I did for myself. The Polka Dot Mini. Who remembers the Polka Dot Mini? I started that, I think, maybe before Hayes was born, 2015, somewhere in that range. And we had 1,000 square feet in our storefront that we devoted to this. We did the Facebook pages, the website. We put a lot of money into this. And y'all, let me tell you, I had good kids brands, okay? I had Pink Chicken. I had Hatley. I had the most beautiful smocked clothing. We put in so much of our money that we were making from the Polka Dot Alley side in 2014 and 15 that were huge. And we were funneling all of that into building the Polka Dot Mini, which was the kids side. And at the time, I was early to mid 30s, having little kids. Most of my customers and friends were in that same boat. So people were in that mindset and wanting kids things. Let me tell you 2 reasons that I really felt like, why did I do that? I should have just bought my kids clothes and not tried to do all of it. 3 reasons, actually, I can tell you. One, people do not want to spend full price on kids' fancy clothes. The end. That's it. They don't. If it is an Easter Bunny picture or sitting on Santa's lap, family photo, maybe. Those three, maybe. First birthday, maybe. For the most part, though, they want it when it's on sale. Kids are growing. We're not trying to go out and spend a ton of money on these kids' clothes when 5 minutes later they're going to be covered in icing or they're going to grow out of the outfit. So people were constantly just kind of waiting for it to get discounted out. They didn't want to spend full price on it. That's number one. Number two, the amount of it essentially was me opening an entire other business. I had to go to a completely different market every season. I was used to going to women's apparel. I was having to also go to kids. It just added on an entire new layer of complete chaos. When you were buying for women, it's pretty simple. You've got a couple, small through large, 1X through 3X. When you're buying for kids, you have newborn, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 2T, 4T, 6T, 8T, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 16. There's so many size runs. Not knowing, are they going to have twins? Are they going to have siblings they want to buy it for? And then they're not going to buy it if you don't have it. You have to invest and go into so much more than you do when you're selling for women. So many things like that I could go on all day, but we invested a lot of money. We invested a very large portion of our store and it did not work out. It was a bust. It was a dumb decision on my part. And all in all, I think the final thing I got from it, every once in a while we'll buy something kids and sell it and we'll offer them. And we have people ask all the time, when are you going to do tween? When are you going to do kids? And the answer is we're not. If we ever have, here and there, one or two things that we want to order, of course, we absolutely do. Do I have any intent, though, on a full kids line again or store? Absolutely not. And I think the main reason is this. And as a mom, this resonates with me and it probably will with you as well. Polka Dot Alley, the Polka Dot Alley, PDA, Shop PDA is ours. It's not theirs. It doesn't belong to the kids. It's ours. And we come here for our slice of selfishness. And if I go to Target, I'll just say it, I'm there to get something for my kids, okay? I'm there to get Hayes' swimsuit. I'm there to get something like that for the kiddos. If I'm going to Old Navy, I'll just say it, I'm getting the kids a summer t-shirt or shorts or something for them. I don't go in there to shop for myself because, hello, I'm at the Polka Dot Alley. So I'm able to my mind can go into that compartmentalized, what am I here for? What is this money going towards? And when we were selling for you and your kids, what does a mom automatically do? Kids first, right? Kids first. So we were putting a pressure on you without us realizing it and without you probably realizing it. Where then when you came into our store, you came onto our website, gosh, I really did want to get this for me, but look how cute that outfit is for him or for her. I shouldn't get this for me because if anything, I should be getting this for them. But also I don't want to spend $70 on a smocked thing for him because he's going to grow in 5 minutes. Oh, you know what? I don't need to spend this on this at all. I should save this, for a family vacation and bye-bye. And then you get off the website. So I think instead of just staying in our lane and doing what we knew we did well, we tried to do more and we tried to add more. And all we did was create customer confusion. We created a complete 200% fold amount of stress for me, more markets for me to go to, completely different merchandising that had to be done in the store. It was just a lot. All that to say, there could be people who do it really well and who manage to have both and have no issues with it. That's just what I found in it. So, and looking back, loved the idea of the Polka Dot Mini, not so much the actual reality of the Polka Dot Mini. Other things that we have done, of course, there are things like brands that we have brought in. I don't want to ruin anyone's livelihood and mention names, but just certain brands looking back that I'm like, that was a bad choice. That's just not a good brand. Or maybe I didn't like the way they did their business. Or maybe it just wasn't a great seller. There were years where we sold a lot of like little gifty things, and I bring those in usually for Christmas, but you'll notice the rest of the year I really don't. And it's because there's no margins in it. It's because it takes up more space. It's because it changes the way that we have to ship things. And we really focus on efficiency at this point so we can get things out to you faster and we can do our best with pricing and with shipping. We know how to do clothes. And We can do shoes and we can do all the other little things too. But the minute we start getting in a bunch of glassware and a bunch of big things and a bunch of heavy things and, oddly shaped things, it kind of slows down the process. And we've learned that as much fun as it is to have all these other little kind of kitschy things to sell, it's not always smart business wise. So I bring those in sometimes as a special treat, but it's not a day in, day out thing. And I don't think it ever will be. So that's something else too. Gosh, what else? I don't know. It's all a learning curve, and it's all thinking about, what can I do better next time? What did I do that I felt like I did really well with that? Because that's okay to think about too. I think we're so focused on being a humble society, especially women, and we're so focused on, also, let's be honest, looking at the other person across the street. So whether it's, you in general looking at others for, gosh, I wish I was in shape like her. I wish I dressed like her, or, whatever it might be. But in business, it's like that too. Man, they seem more successful. They've got more people watching. They've got bigger numbers here. And oh, that item sold out faster for them. And I feel like that's just something that I had to learn, that I just had to focus on me, and I can't focus on what other people are doing because you'll drive yourself crazy. And I know that's so much easier said than done, but at the end of the day, we can all succeed in whatever it might be. She can look good and you can look good too. And her looking good doesn't make you look worse. So I think it's just something where we have to try to be happy for others so that we can be happy for ourselves. And if we are feeling negative towards others, we're also probably feeling pretty negative towards ourselves. And I don't know about you, but for me, I just want to be happy, and I want to be positive, and I want to think about all those really good things. Now, some good things that I think I did that I think helped us get to where we are. One of them is the positive mindset. I feel like I am a very positive person. Don't get me wrong, I'm a bitchy person too sometimes, but all in all, I'm positive. I try to think of the good in things. I tried to think of how I can spin something to be good. And I don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling anxious. I don't like feeling negative. I do believe there are people who truly like those feelings. I do. I think I can't understand it, but I think there are people, and I know there are because I see those people sometimes follow us and comment. There are people who, when they see something, they always have a comment for it. They always have something negative to say. And y'all know the people I'm talking about. I don't mean in PDA, I mean in your life. You post something and there's maybe that little backhanded comment, or you're doing something and they've got that comment. They've got something that they want to say. And I think we all know that means they're unhappy. Something with them is unhappy. And it has actually nothing to do with you, and has nothing to do with whatever they're even talking about. They are essentially giving you what's in their heart, which is really sad. And so I think for us, I have always tried to remember that if you are watching me, you are watching me for entertainment. You are not watching me. Now, that said, I'm real. You're getting the real. And there are days where I might be annoyed or I might be sad, and I don't hide it from you. But for the most part, you are watching me as an escape. Is it that you really want to see all those clothes on me? Maybe, some of you, but some of you don't. And you're not shopping at all. And you're there because I'm your TV show. And you're there because you just want to have something to tune out, to clock out, and to not have to think about your reality. Not because it's bad, but because you want an escape. You want something else to kind of take you away for 30 minutes or an hour. And so I think that's one thing that us going live has been able to do for people and has changed the game for us. I think boutiques who do not go live probably don't know what they're missing. They probably don't know what the potential even is. If you would have told me years ago, money-wise, what can be done by simply going live for, I bet most of my employees that know our numbers coming in wouldn't have known that you could do that selling clothes for a couple hours online. And I mean, obviously you probably have an idea, or I wouldn't have a warehouse with dozens of employees. Our lives are our bread and butter. And I never would have known. And it's a game changer. So 1,000,000%, without hesitation and without question, the best thing for our business to get us through these 18 years was the ability to go live. It will forever be the ability to go live. I cannot foresee me ever not going live. Um, it's funny because I get to where I'm so worn out from doing them. And when we just came back from Destin, I was like, oh, I'm taking a break. They're not going to see me for like 3 days. The next night I was sitting at my desk. It's become my outlet. I end up wanting to come on and talk to you guys. So it's really funny because for you, it's an outlet where you get to just listen and you get to just kind of zone out and you get to watch me try on clothes. Well, you know what I'm saying? Not watch me try on clothes. I go off and then I change and I come back. But you get to see that side of it. But for me, it's an outlet kind of like this is because I'm able to get my thoughts out. I'm able to talk to you guys. I'm able to kind of have that friendship where I get to release and, I don't know, it's mutually beneficial, I feel like. And I think y'all know that and I know that, and that allows it to work. I don't think of it fully like you guys are customers, just like I don't think of it as my vendors like work for me or anything. I feel like you're my friends. And I feel like I'm your friend. And I feel like you want to know about things. And I feel excited to tell you about things. And I think that's one thing that has helped us work. And I think that's what's been authentic. And I think that that is what has driven us to this point and continues to drive us is I actually miss y'all when I don't go live. And you miss me when I don't go live. And that's kind of cool, you know? And so I think that's definitely the biggest part of it. And a really huge part. Another thing for sure that I think is a benefit and a really good decision for us with tied in with going lives is that we do try everything on and that, well, again, another whole episode, comment sold. Using comment sold and going to comment sold was one of my best business decisions ever. And I took too long to make it. I think I've talked about this previously, so I won't go too far in, but the company I used before, I was feeling very loyal to. Nothing wrong with them. They had the initial idea, but they didn't really have the ability to grow it beyond that. Comment Sold came in and was just killing it and growing. But I stayed over there and I just was like, oh, I can't go. And I didn't want to go. And then I finally did. And it was a great decision. Comment Sold is constantly just coming up with new innovative things and ideas and ways to make our business better and to make it better for you guys as customers. And that's been really helpful. But in doing those lives, what we're doing is, you know, I remember before lives, we would make fit videos. We would sit there and have to, you know, make a full video and edit the beginning, edit the end, attach it on the website to the item. Now it's doing it for us. We're doing that live, and then those clips of the videos stay. You guys having that ability to not have to go to a store, but to be able to see more than an image, to be able to see someone trying it on and saying, oh, it's a little bit tight right here. Or, oh, look, this fits like this. Look how short it is. This is where it goes. This is the feel. This is the smell. Whatever it might be, I think has been a very big added benefit to the Polka Dot Alley and another thing that has helped us kind of be able to get to where we are. As you're seeing here, this is kind of a two-parter. The last episode and this episode have kind of flown together with talking about what did I do wrong? What did I do right? What did we do really well? What did we do really wrong? And I think there's so much of it, but at the end of the day, it's just been magic. And you don't always have a reason and you don't always have an explanation. And it's like maybe just a million little things happen just in the right way to have it work. And I think that's a little bit of what it's been. I think there's, you know, a little bit of luck, a lot of bit of hard work. I think there's been a lot of grit on my end. I think the determination and I said I was going to do this, so I am going to do this. That's just kind of been me since birth anyways. So why would it be any different here? And the things, like I said, you know, before, the things that maybe weren't the best decisions, maybe they weren't my smartest business decisions, in some way probably still helped us, and they still helped us to grow. And I think if I would have sat around and just harped on those things and let those just tear me down, I would have missed that silver lining that maybe then pushed us and led us to the next part. So I'm excited for you guys to hear more from the Alley podcast this month. This being our birthday month, we had to kick off the first few episodes talking about the last 18 years and the good and the bad and the ugly and the happy and all of those things. But we're going to get with the kids this month, which is exciting. We're going to talk about our own custom brand Buckley this month, kind of tell you how things got started with that, why, kind of just the ins and outs behind it. And we're going to continue on. I'm going to stick with it this time. We're going to dive into the fire. I know y'all want to know about that. We're also going to dive into my surgery and my weight loss, which I know people are interested about. Can't wait to hear what else you guys want to know about, but hopefully something that I say resonates with you. Hopefully from this episode, you remember to just kind of stay positive, be a positive light for others. And if something negative happens, instead of always harping on it and thinking, man, why did I do that? And beating yourself up over it, remember that something good probably came. You may not even be able to see what it is yet, but at some point you will. And then you'll be able to kind of spin it for what it hopefully can be, which is a memory that maybe wasn't the best decision, but then it gave you growth and a new mindset to kind of push you forward into the next.